So, one music video that lived rent-free in my head as a kid was Californication by the Chili Peppers. This looked like the most bomb-ass video game ever. You see the band snowboarding on the Golden Gate Bridge, riding a huge dragonfly, and being sucked down to hell. Sadly, it wasn't a real game. They just made it look a little too much like GTA 3. But I always loved the idea of combining bands or musicians with games. Not just doing the soundtrack or producing it, I mean they play an integral role in the gameplay, story, general experience. David Bowie in the Nomad Soul, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, the obligatory AC/DC pinball machine you always see at barcades. So today, let's check out some games featuring musicians or bands. The only rules are 1, no Guitar Hero or Rock Band, because, that's cheating. And 2, it needs to be what I consider an actual game. I'm not playing fucking Mel B's Yoga Adventure for the Wii. That's not a game, that's product placement. But yeah, let's start with this one.
Took a midnight train going any...
Journey Escape is a game of few words. It's not stoic, it's an Atari game, so it's over in 5 minutes. Here's the plot from its Wikipedia page. You're on the road with Journey, one of the world's hottest rock groups. It's up to you to guide each member past hordes of groupies, photographers, and shifty-eyed promoters to the Journey escape vehicle in time for the next show. That's the only shred of coherency you're gonna get. I swear to God, this game barely works. The whole thing is you dodging enemies that flash randomly, teleport, or stretch vertically. Good thing your character moves like 5 times faster than everything else. You literally have to try to lose. The best part is when you clear a stage. The game just freezes you in place. You don't go to a level 2, the title screen, enemies just shimmy down for eternity. Really, the only thing I liked were the pretty colors in the background and the shitty rendition of Don't Stop Believin'. Journey Escape, to put it kindly, is a sensory overload. I can't wait to start the journey of escaping the memory of this game.
Hey! I heard you girls playing some b-ball.
Okay, straight up, there's only 2 sports games I give a shit about. Mario Super Sluggers on the Wii and Golf with Your Friends. I thank God every day I'm not one of those freaks that gets mad about FIFA. Next we got Rap Jam, Volume 1. This is a basketball game with a bunch of 90s rappers and hip-hop groups. Naughty by Nature, Coolio, Public Enemy, Queen Latifah. My favorite thing is their hyper-realistic designs juxtaposed with the cartoony teammate characters. Besides that, this game has nothing. It's boring as hell. Biggest problem, there's no music at all during a game. Now, that doesn't sound like a big deal, but when all you hear is silence and the occasional funny scream, yeah, it's a big deal. You'd think a game with a roster this stacked would have more than just a menu theme. Literally, that's the only song I heard all game. The only thing I liked was getting bullied relentlessly by the CPU. Even when I was winning, they still pushed me around like I owed them lunch money. Besides that, Rap Jam has nothing. The only reason it's on here is to fill a spot and so I can dunk on it. I mean, you don't get on Electronic Gaming Monthly's worst games of all time list for no reason, damn it. In terms of gameplay, I've seen worse, but the execution was just, it was bad. Sadly, there was never a Rap Jam Volume 2, but they should do that now. Instead of rappers, though, it should be Stomp Clap Hey Bands from 2011. Number 3, we got Wu-Tang Shaolin Style. This is a fighting game with the Wu-Tang Clan for the PS1. Sadly, no one wanted to play with me, so I'm stuck with story mode. And straight up, this shit is hilarious. Basically, there's a bunch of evil dudes in China that want to use the Wu-Tang to conquer the world. So they go to Staten Island, kidnap the Wu-Tang Clan's leader, and your job is to get him back. These FMVs are awesome, by the way. The movement is super jank and floaty, the resolution's bad, and there's a perfect mix of overacting and underacting.
I wasn't expecting company, or I would have picked up around here.
Ah, Sin, my oldest living adversary.
You choose which Wu-Tang member to play as. I went with Ghostface because he's cool, and you plopped into the game's hub, and TBH, it gave a lot of bad first impressions. You got tank controls, movement is super stiff, and all you can do is walk around. You can't jump, practice moves, nothing. You mosey over to an arena, and you're greeted with an objective screen before the fight. The funny thing is, if you don't press anything on the controller, it stays on this screen forever, so you can watch your guy run down this hallway for eternity. So you get to the first fight and it's straight up the worst thing of all time. For starters, you're fighting 3 CPUs at the same time. They're not doing crazy combos and shit, but it's really easy for them to gang up on you. The camera doesn't know who to focus on, so it bounces all over the damn place, and there's no tutorial for combos or moves. I still managed to win despite the CPUs mopping the floor with me, but who the hell thought this was a good idea? That's like teaching a kid to swim, so you throw them off a bridge with a cinder block tied to their leg. The fights after sucked too. The only ones I unlocked were 1v1s, but these guys were way harder. Spear Lady over here was running circles around me and pulling off all these sick moves. I tried changing characters to see if Ghostface was the heavy class or something, and I did mildly better with Method Man and Dirty Bastard, but I still had no chance. And look, I don't want to be that guy, but it felt there was some input delay. I don't know if it was because of my controller or the the actual real PS1 I played this on, but I never felt like I had full control over my inputs. I do cool shit occasionally, but it was never intentional. Honestly, I was kind of relieved changing characters didn't help, so I could stop playing and give up. On the plus side, the music during fights slaps. It's something to look forward to while you get your ass kicked. Play it if you're a die-hard Wu-Tang fan, or just watch the FMVs on YouTube. Also, fun fact, to promote the game, Activision made a special edition PS1 controller in the shape of the Wu-Tang W, and apparently it controlled like shit.
Yo, Radiohead, listen to this.
Okay, I'm gonna put a little epilepsy warning on this one, so if you're sensitive to flashing lights or, to cover all bases, if you're on any psychedelics either, please just skip this part. I don't want you to die. Next, we got the Kid Amnesia exhibition. This is, in its own words, a digital art museum of artwork for the Radiohead albums Kid A and Amnesia. Unlike the other games I've talked about, this one isn't a game in a conventional sense, like you're not interacting with stuff, more like experiencing it. It's a lot like a walking sim, because 1, you're walking, that's all you do, and 2, the first thing you're gonna do is lower the mouse sensitivity. It reminds me of games like Dear Esther, Shelter, and especially the Stanley Parable, because this shit gets weird. You start the game in these monochrome-ass woods that kind of give me Slender the 8 Pages vibes, and before you step into the craziness, you'll find a message. This is not a game. Take your time. You're at the beginning, so there must be an end. Some places will make sense, some will never make sense. See you later. From here on out, the game lets you do whatever, and this shit is equal parts beautiful and disturbing. 1 minute I was floating aimlessly in space with these huge portraits dissolving into particles. The next I was being swarmed by these scary-ass satyrs. Another had orange boxes floating in the sky, and the next you got this shit staring down at you. The point is, there's a lot to see. So far I played for about an hour and I feel I barely scratched the surface. In fact, you can find QR codes in some of the rooms and they bring you to a website with the map of the game. And judging by the route I think I took, I didn't see shit. You could spend hours dissecting this game. It's kind of asking for it with how weird it gets. And there probably is a deeper meaning to all this, but to be honest, I really don't care. I'm not the type of guy who analyzes every minute detail just to be like, oh, there's subtext. Sometimes shit's just weird for the sake of being weird. Remember the message from earlier. Again, not saying there isn't more to this, and there's nothing inherently wrong with trying to make more of it, but just enjoy the experience. It's in the title, for heaven's sake. I do recommend you check it out though, not just for the visuals, but you get to listen to Radiohead while you play.
Ow, no, I can't walk on my own.
I think we can all agree Jack Black's public perception has started to wane. The Tenacious D incident, starring in the Minecraft movie, and also he's 55 and still a loud-ass motherfucker. But let's ignore that. Let's go back to the golden age of Jack Black, the 2000s, where he starred in the video game Brutal Legend. This is an action-adventure game directed by Tim Schafer, the guy who also did Psychonauts. He said the game was influenced by his own past musical experiences, being an avid metal fan since high school, and my god, it shows. This game is a huge love letter to metal. The game centers around Jack Black's very shameless self-insert Eddie Riggs, the world's greatest roadie. He accidentally gets killed during a show and is transported to the heavy metal world. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. To be honest, the game's story is all over the place. Characters talk so goddamn much, and to give it credit, the writing actually is pretty funny, but given the time it came out and, Jack Black, there's a lot of what I classify as, that just happened type of humor.
It's time to sound the battle cry.
Have you been looking at my sword?
It doesn't help these cutscenes also kinda hurt the pacing too. Like, no joke, 2/3 of my first recording session were just cutscenes. The gameplay itself is pretty fun though. Combat feels tight and there's a lot of cool stuff you can pull off with your axe and guitar. You also use your guitar to play songs that have different effects. Discovering secrets, summoning your car reminds me of using the ocarina in Zelda. In fact, a lot of things in this game remind me of Zelda. Combat rolling, Z targeting. I know that's only 3 things, but I wanted to use the joke Brutal Legend of Zelda once, so yes, sue me. But just like the story, a lot of stuff is thrown at you fast. Different moves, abilities, even some RTS elements. I feel the first hour of this game is both overwhelming and slow at the same time. But after you rescue the headbanger dudes and do some side quests, the pace picks up way more. Right now I'm about to fight the Metal Queen for Lemmy, which, by the way, this game has a stacked cast. Lita Ford, Tim Curry, Ozzy, oh my god, he steals the show. And the soundtrack, as you may have guessed, is insane. The more you play, the more you unlock, but they got Motorhead, Sabbath, Slayer, Megadeth, Mastodon. Tim Schafer said the soundtrack was designed to be loved by metal fans. And I don't want to imagine how much they spent on licensing, but that goes to show how much passion went into this game. Hell, the main menu is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It's literally just a vinyl. Like I said, the intro is a bit much, but give it a try if you're a fan of metal, or want to relive the glory days of Jack Black.
I play the bass in your face and make you wanna jack off.
So remember how I said I wanted to play the Californication video so bad as a kid? Well, now I can. Okay, so this is a fan game made by developer Miguel Camps Orteza. He also wanted to play it really bad and finally took matters into his own hands by making a fan game. So technically, this isn't an official release. Probably breaking the rules, but I already did that for the Radiohead game. Who cares? It's not Mel B's fucking yoga adventure. We're good. Basically, this game replicates scenes from the music video and turns them into stages, each with their own play style and gimmicks. Riding on the dragonfly, snowboarding, and punching sharks in the ocean. One of my favorites was being chased by the bus. You're not running from it, it's more like a light jog if anything. One scene I wish was in this was Flea riding the minecarts. Those could have been like the minecart levels in Donkey Kong Country. The only stage I wasn't huge on was the one in the woods. It's kinda slow and there's no bear like in the video. You can also choose which member of the band to play as, both current and a lot of the past ones. Dave Navarro, Hillel Slovak, Josh Klinghoffer. I played as him in the stage you hit people with your car. For what it is, this game is pretty fun. You can tell Miguel is a huge fan of the Chili Peppers, and there was a lot of passion that went into this too. I'll leave a download link in the description. Give it a shot if you're curious, but I will say it is pretty jank. Alright, that's enough gaming for one day. I hope you guys enjoyed this badass experience. Not all these were good, let's make that absolutely clear, but I still had fun. There's a good amount of variety at the very least. I'm glad these weren't all really bad shovelware fashion games or something. If you guys have any other video games featuring musicians, tell me about them in the comments. There were a few I skipped over for this video, but if y'all got some good recommendations, maybe I'll do another one of these, I don't know. Alright, video over. Now I'm gonna shout out some of the covers y'all recommended after last week's video. Thank you guys for sharing. To be honest, I wasn't expecting to get so many, but here we go. Alright, let me pull up Spotify. Slow Dive, Some Velvet Morning, Real Big Fish, Hungry Like the Wolf, Billy Joe Armstrong, Kids in America, Cardigan, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Planet Caravan by Pantera, Strawberry Fields Forever by Tatran, I think it is, Just Like Heaven by Dinosaur Jr., Stand By Me by Florence and the Machine, Black Betty by Caravan Palace, Dear Maria by Sunrise Skaters, 21st Century Schizoid Man by Fuzz, also Black Midi's cover is really good too, Faith No More's cover of War Pigs, and In the Air Tonight by State of Mind.